Hey guys, a little bit different backdrop today. Decided I'd switch it up. For today's video, I actually wasn't. This one wasn't planned, but I thought it'd be a good idea. After, you know, when I thought of it, basically. So anyway, a couple of days ago, I got this goal-setting journal. Here it is. And it's a journal that was created by, let me see his name, if I can find it real quick in a sec. Okay. It was created by William Rossi, hope I'm pronouncing that right. If you don't know, he created that YouTube channel Sprout, which is actually really good. You should really check it out. Great, motivation, for people who want to set goals and everything. So I purchased this in hoping to, get a better idea of how to achieve goals, plan out and make the necessary steps in order to make those goals come to life. And there's a part in here which I'm not really going to show you because it's personal, but I'll show a picture of what it looks like before, like when you just get it. There's a part that says, I'll just read the page. Discovering my purpose. Discovering my purpose is the exercise that most helped me understand what it is. Wait. That helped me understand what it was that I wanted to pursue at the university. The response I filled out helped me confidently quit my six-figure job and become an entrepreneur, and I haven't had to question my career ambitions ever since. To get started on this exercise, think of 5 people that you deeply admire and ask yourself what the 3 to 5 most powerful qualities that they possess are. Don't be afraid to repeat words, just write down whatever comes to mind. And at the bottom it says, useful tip, think of the people you surround yourself with most, your parents, siblings, best friends, or even the people you surround yourself online. It could be influencers you follow, etc. And then there's a little section that, you can write the people you admire, and you see it in the picture. You write people you admire and the qualities, whatever. You get the gist. And when I got to that part of the book, I kind of got stumped because, the first people you think of is like, the first people you think of when someone asks you do you admire them is the people in your vicinity, kind of your friends, your family, co-workers, maybe, etc. And when I saw that, I tried to think of people in my life that I admire, and I'm gonna be honest, I couldn't think of any. And it's not to say I hate them or anything. I don't, but like with family, you know, let's take that one for example. Most of my family, well, it's kind of sad to admit this, or just the way it is not really the most ambitious crowd. A lot of them are, working class. You go home, you wake up, you go to work, you do what you're supposed to, then you come home, repeat. And that's the way they've been, and they're mostly all older, and so they've been doing that for years, so it's kind of ingrained in them. And when I came upon that question, I tried to think that yeah, there's really none of them I can look to, and like I said, like I don't hate them, I don't look down upon them, 100%. Some of the times I do because they're stuck in that, you know, I don't want to say grind. They're stuck in that cycle that most people do, and they can't get out of it. And I just don't look at them, and it made me think. The biggest. Oh, scratch that. It just made me look at them and think, I can't write any of these people down. I mean, on one hand, I could, because it's your family. You kind of feel good to write someone down, but on the other hand, I don't want to write them down because that would be lying to myself about people I admire. Let me fix this camera real quick. A little bit. There you go. I would be lying to myself if I wrote some of them down and wrote qualities down when I don't really admire them. The whole point, of this journal or any other journal is that it's yours. It's your, private life, private thoughts, and I would be doing a disservice to myself if I put people down that I don't admire. Which begs the question, which the big question comes in, like, what do you do when faced with that scenario? What do you do when somebody asks you, or even if you're trying to fill out something like this journal, where people say, where it says, write down the people you admire, and you can't think of anyone in your family. Is that good or is that bad? I mean, me personally, I don't think it's bad at all. It's just, it is what it is. If you're in a family where they're not the most ambitious people like me, then yeah, you shouldn't be forced or feel the need to write them down when you don't admire them. It's like, what's the point? Like, for me personally, like, the people I admire, like, the biggest one I admire is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Everyone knows who he is, celebrity, politician, whatever. Because, like, you think about it, like, this man, back when he first came to America, I think he was 20 years old. He was broke. He didn't speak the language. He had no help whatsoever, and look what he became. He became a champion bodybuilder, conquered movies, and even, I wouldn't say conquered politics, because conquered politics would be like becoming president, but he did become governor of the biggest state in the U.S. So that's basically up there. I mean, he basically got, as far as he could with being an immigrant. Um, someone like that, and you watch the 3-part documentary on him. Sorry, some dog just barked across the street. But if you watch the Arnold documentary on Netflix, it is the most motivating thing for me personally. I remember it's 3 hours long that break down, like, the first hour is his bodybuilding career, the second is his acting career, and then his politics career. And I watched that 3 times, no joke, 3 times when it came out, in just 9 hours back to back, because I was so motivated. And you look at someone like that, like, yeah, he's definitely, in here. I definitely wrote him down as someone I admire. And I look at my family, and it's like, none of them have those qualities. And on one hand, yes, you could say it's kind of sad, which, and it is what it is, like I said. Some people might, comment down below, oh, you need to stick your family no matter what, which I don't really think that's necessarily 100% true. I don't think it's I don't think they're the end all be all, like, people say, because if you're someone who is ambitious, or even, it doesn't have to be, like Arnold, it can just be you want to change your life, and you want to take the necessary steps to do that. If you're someone like that, and your family tries to tear you down, then that's a bad situation. I would say just, cut them loose. I mean, you don't have to, like, officially, and my dog keep barking. You don't have to officially cut them out 100%. Maybe you can move away. You can maybe distance yourself a little bit. But this question, like, here, like, it just really got me thinking about this topic. What do you do when, you're faced with this? Do you lie to yourself, or do you, I don't want to say bend the knee. At least that's a good example. Bend the knee in order to appease others, make others feel helpful. But then again, like, the main thing to remember is that this is, like, in this case, this is, my journal. This would be your journal if you have one. It's your thoughts. It's not anybody else's. Nobody you know, friends, whatever. I mean, even bosses, even friends. I guess that can be a whole nother topic. There aren't really many friends I admire. I mean, I have a small friend group, and I'm happy for them. Like, all of them, like, one of them's, they all living different lives and different ways of living, and I'm happy for all of them. But again, there's really none that I look to and say, oh my God, I want to be like him. One question, well, there's a couple questions you can think of. One is, the biggest one I think is whoever you meet, in the future, would you trade lives with them? Even if it's just for, like, a day, would you trade lives with them and live their life? If the answer is no, then do you really admire them? The answer is no. I mean, because, if you did, you would trade lives with them. And nobody I know I would trade lives with, to be honest. And that's not to say, again, it's not to say, oh, boo-hoo, I'm looking down on them. It's just, I have a different mentality, and I guess, and that's okay. You know, it's not wrong. It's not bad. It's just people are different. I would like to know, do you guys feel this way? Or have you ever encountered this feeling at all through your lives? I would love to know. Please comment below and share your experiences.